It was morning. Yoongi just came back home and directly headed towards Jungkook's room. Ko, why did you turn the AC off? Yoongi noticed Van was sleeping in Jungkook's bed. Her body was wrapped with a thick layer of bedsheet. What is she doing here? Yoongi pointed towards her sleeping body. Oh, she locked her room from outside and the keys are inside the room, Jungkook answered. Yoongi noticed Jungkook's dark circles. You didn't sleep? She was feeling cold, so I turned off the AC. Sorry. Jungkook politely apologized. Where is Taehyung? He asked. Taehyung is dealing with a new high school case of bullying. Yoongi sighed and they both looked at the sleeping body with concern. Koo, will you agree to take her responsibility? Yoongi cursed his hair. She's new. She knows nothing about the brutal world. We only can afford a Jeon tag to save her. Talk to Mom Hyung. I have no problem. Whatever Mom will decide, I will do. Jungkook knew the matter of discussion, but he didn't know that the only way that Yoongi referred was nothing but marrying Van, because that was the only way to get a Jeon tag, and probably only a Jeon tag could save her from the bullies, as the Jones were really a big name at that time and they were one of the trustees of the educational institution. As the central AC was turned off for a long time, Van moved a little, feeling drenched in sweat. She uncovered her face from the sheet cover and found Yoongi and Jungkook in the room. It's so hot. She stretched her arms and yawned. Yoongi touched her forehead. Van, how are you feeling? Better. She blinked her eyes a few times as she wasn't ready to discuss in this matter in front of a coconut-headed boy, though she was grateful for everything Cook had done for her. Yet it was embarrassing. Did Aunt John come back from office? Looking at Cook, she asked. Oh, she's gonna kill me. Jungkook rushed to switch on the air conditioning system. After about 15 minutes, Yoongi had already gone to his room and freshened up. When Taehyung and Mrs. Jeon stepped in the home, Yoongi noticed there was an obvious frown in both of their faces. What happened? Yoongi asked. Aunt Joan came to the hospital and saw the student. She is worried about Van. So am I. Taehyung rubbed his temple. Taehyung, go and freshen up. Don't think too much. We are here with her. There would definitely be solutions, but first, rest. Yoongi patted on Taehyung's back. Taehyung went to his room. Morning. Wen hadn't registered her fingerprint. She had locked herself outside the room. Please unlock her room, as she had put all her luggages inside the room. Yoongi explained everything to the landlord. How is Van? Where was she? The landlord asked with concern. Jungkook let her stay in his room, though I have told him that she can't stay in my room, Yoongi informed. Jungkook let her? The landlord raised her eyebrows as she didn't believe her introvert son communicating with someone, especially with a girl. Van was extremely weak. Probably he pitied her. Yoongi casually shrugged his shoulders. Mrs. Jeon didn't interrogate anything and unlocked Van's room. After that, she looked inside Jungkook's room. Jungkook wasn't in the room at that time. Van was curled into a ball in one of the corners of the bed. She also noticed Jungkook had put his only water bottle on the bedside. Jungkook treated you well, Mrs. Jones sighed. She sat on the bed and kissed Van's hair. How are you feeling? Better. Van finally uncovered her face from the bedsheet wrap. Seeing Van like that, Mrs. Jung remembered her own teenage days when she used to suffer from cramps. She remembered how tough her high school days were. What are you craving? She politely asked Van. On the other side, Van became conscious as she was wearing Jungkook's t-shirt. Anything, whatever will be cooked. I will eat, she responded. I have unlocked your room, Mrs. John informed. But I, Yoongi, and they have something to discuss with you. And Jungkook, obviously. Your room is probably still a mess, and it might be awkward if no, three grown men come to discuss something in your room. So, be here. After a few minutes, Yoongi and Taehyung entered into Jungkook's room. One was sitting on his bed. The t-shirt and boxer she was wearing was already revealed, but no one uttered nothing about that Jungkook's stamped t-shirt. He is still in the bathroom? Yoongi finally knocked on the bathroom door. Jungkook, come out. We need to talk to you. 10 minutes, he replied. 5 minutes, maximum. Taehyung used his deep voice this time. Mrs. Joan and the two grown men looked at Van. So, your school is about to start. Yoongi started the conversation. Van nodded. Taehyung, so what kind of ragging and bullying you have faced? Van shook her head in denial. I don't know, the teachers were biased a few times, but... Taehyung, okay, I understand. Now listen to us carefully. Do you want to experience the bullying system? I mean, it's totally your choice. When? How can I only be a student of the institute? Nothing more or less than that. Just study, nothing else. Yoongi, neither I nor Taehyung, but the Jeon tag can save you. When? But Jungkook Oppa is going to be in the med school. Taehyung, it has nothing to do with Jungkook directly, yet he will be involved in this matter. And Mrs. Jeon finally interrupted. I have only two sons. Jungkook is the younger one. I don't have a daughter. When? Will you be my younger daughter? In law? She's wearing your t-shirt and sitting on your bed. Mrs. John looked at her son. You have already taken care of her when she was in pain. Yoongi, when? It will just be a contract. Nobody would force you to do nothing, believe me. Say yes. Van nodded in agreement. But I have. If she becomes my wife, she won't be allowed to date anyone. She can have male friends as the institute is co-ed, but she can't have a boyfriend. Van raised her eyebrows. I agree. Even without the Joan tag, I already fulfill your criteria, but I also have my points. I am not going to study the medicine, so my career is not going to be so well defined. I will be free to choose my career and no one will stop me. Jungkook chuckled. Of course, but you can't choose to be or... At this moment, Mrs. John finally raised her voice. Will you stop? One will be free to choose whatever she wants to be in life, but I would advise her to inform me about her overall routine as she will be provided security guards, Mrs. John stated. and she will bow me whenever we will meet outside or in the campus. Jungkook added. When the 17-year-old girl was furious seeing the coconut-headed boy. Why? Jungkook didn't dare to utter a single word as Mrs. John glared. I have told to prepare the papers and informed your parents too. Read the documents and then sign. She cursed her hair. Jungkook was the only one who used to be cursed by Mrs. John that particular way. Indeed, he felt jealous. Mrs. John stepped out of the room. Taehyung followed her. Yoongi casually patted on his shoulder. You really gave her the t-shirt that you already worn out? You could have given her a better one. By the way, congratulations. Treat her best. Jungkook nodded and Young left the room. One was about to leave the room when Jungkook stopped her. Don't need to return me these clothes. Lowering her head, Wen nodded silently and went to her room. And it was enough for that morning.